It'll be good content. Need a blast off meme? I have one, a Yakuza one that you guys sent me, so I was just gonna use that. Yeah. Brother, I have good news. I have 7 years of working nonstop, being the sole provider for my parents and sister. I finally decided to stop being a corporate slave, working 12 hours and barely getting by. I'm taking a mental health break and finally doing something for me. Also loved your Power Word stream. Hell yeah. I wonder how many voters are voting Nikki Haley solely because their initials are the same as New Hampshire. It's actually an interesting... When are we doing the heist, or did I miss something? The debate between SAS and Orange Man would have numbers if it happened. Who? Stephen A. Smith wants to debate Donald Trump. I'd eat him alive. Oh my God, that'd be so sick. Now that is a fucking debate I can get behind, okay? Pure spectacle, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Pure spectacle. Nothing more, nothing less. Love that. Okay, where the fuck is this? Okay, let's do it. Let's post it. Let's put this in there. But yeah, he would eat him alive. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Just want to send positivity before the debate trauma will receive. I mean, it's 2 hours. We won't watch the whole thing. That would be too much to watch, I think. But I see you're going to Austin to start your right-wing turn on the Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah. The CNN video that you're linking me about witnessing firsthand the Israeli occupying force desecrating graves, that we covered that yesterday. What's in the breakfast sandwich? Oh my God, this guy's been asking me what's in the breakfast sandwich since yesterday, since I mentioned that that's what I eat at dinner. Last night I made menemen, okay? But here you go, chatter. You know what? I will tell you what's in the breakfast sandwich. I get here. First of all, we're blasting off. I will tell you what is in my breakfast sandwich and how I make it if this tweet gets to 1,000 likes. How about that? I will tell you my secret recipe for the breakfast sandwich. Do it. It's a lot of work for an Italian man. Don't do identity politics with me, gabagool. Okay, we're at 190 so far. Juice it, juice it, juice it. What do you think of Lex? I think that, I mean, there's a lot of things that I disagree with him on, but I do think that he's very good at being agreeable with everyone. Like, I don't think we align on our worldview even remotely, and I think he loves like super rich people a little too much. Like, I don't know. I've never like... All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Let's go. Let's get it popping. We're halfway there. He's what Joe Rogan used to be. I think so, but also much smarter than Joe Rogan too. Lex is legitimately a good interviewer. I just wish he'd pick better people to talk to. No, I think he picks really fucking incredible people to talk to. What are you talking about? Look, Lex Fridman is a great example of like a pretty solid interviewer. Even though he has like an agenda, I do believe he's like literally a centrist. Right? What do I mean by this? What do I mean by Lex Fridman literally being at the dead center? Man, when I talk about many people being centrist, like oftentimes they're not actually centrist. They're just like hiding their position. I think he truly is like a directly down the center guy. Bro's doing tricks on that fence. No, I think he's just like not many people are actual fence sitters, okay? Not many people are actual centrists. I think Lex Fridman is literally smack dab on the center. He doesn't give a fuck. Dude, he'll talk to Benjamin Netanyahu, and then he'll talk to, like, Mohammed El-Kurd, right? But he loves super rich, super powerful people. Like, if there's a super rich, super powerful person out there, he will defend them. Just say you want to go on, brother. The other thing about Lex Fridman is that I have been incredibly critical of him time and time again. He's asked to interview me like for 2 years almost now. I don't know why you think I need permission from you. That's the funniest part about this. Why you didn't go? Because I don't want to go to. I don't want to go all the way to Austin. All right, we still haven't gotten to 1,000 likes. Chat, what's going on? All right, whatever. But yeah, and I said that this year I would go and get interviewed and do the interview with him eventually. But having said that, I'll explain. I will tell you what it is. I will tell you what my breakfast sandwich is that I make every night. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Every night after I'm done with the broadcast, I turn on Better Call Saul on the television. If I'm feeling frisky, sometimes I cut the low-calorie cheese in half, and I make 2 of those sandwiches. Your sandwich sounds so sad. My friend, that sandwich, and then I have that with a side of Elite Core, 42-calorie. Elite Core, 42 grams of protein shake. Putting Chick-fil-A sauce on a sandwich with deli turkey meat? Why would you waste money on good meat? That's fucked up. What? Brother, this Conan Reacts has been pending for days. Turkey slurs we never got to. It wasn't good. I watched it. Turkey with the fucking egg. This is bar none the most insane take you've ever had. I don't mind it. I don't mind turkey with the egg. I don't mind. I mean, I prefer ham is good too, but I like it with the turkey. It's fine. It's inoffensive. It's unassuming. But yeah, overall, no, turkey meat is dry, but deli meat is not. It's fine. So you should do an Africa stream where you give kids pizza, water, and hamburgers. That sounds exploitative. Anyway. Chat wild, I have turkey and scrambled eggs all the time. However, and I'll tell you what this delicacy looks like. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now. Calorie wise, that meal, that night meal, 1 slice of mature cheddar cheese, low fat, 1 bottle of chocolate core power elite high protein milkshake, 4 slices of Nature's Oats bread, 2 eggs, and Chick-fil-A sauce, and also 4 slices of turkey. That basically comes out to, because the 4 slices of turkey are like 30 calories, is like nothing. That basically comes out to 732 calories with 79 grams of protein in it. It's pretty good. And then often I'll just have, oftentimes I will also have a side of like Quest Cheez-Its, or like Quest chips. You know what I mean? How much protein do you consume daily? 220 grams of protein. Fairlife Elite Core being lactose, gluten-free, and low sugar and high in protein on top of them tastes amazing. Makes me think they cause cancer. I'll keep drinking that garbage. I order cases of it. Yeah. It's like Fairlife, technically under the Coca-Cola Corporation, absolutely does some weird wizardry. Like, it makes no sense. Aren't you like 6'4", 220? Yeah. I am 245 pounds, like 245 to 250 swings around. And 220 grams of protein is good enough. Where do you order cases? I've been looking. I love that shit too. Amazon, baby. Fairlife chocolate milk with protein. Fairlife strawberry banana milk is insane. Like, it kind of doesn't make sense. It genuinely, the macros on that shit don't make sense. I feel like it's not real. I think it's like made up. There's something weird going on. There's something totally wonky going on there, but I don't care. Intelligent, you're 100% right. I feel like it definitely gives you like ass cancer, like a weird kind of butt cancer that you've never even heard of, but I don't mind it. So yeah. New Hampshire voter here. I just went to the polling station in my town, Southeast New Hampshire, and I show up and there's an old lady in the wealthy part who broke her leg outside begging for nobody to call an ambulance. Remember why you vote. That's crazy. Would you be on the side of the health debate that breakfast is important to health journey? I don't really care. I don't think that I don't think that it matters. Like breakfast, have breakfast, don't have breakfast, it doesn't matter. All that stuff is bullshit. You know what I think. I mean, I talk about this every day. It's like it's something I bring up almost as much as the top of the hour ad break. Basically, is that it's calories in, calories out, baby. That's it. Wrong. Science says otherwise. Yeah. Okay, dude. Okay. Calories in, calories out. Ultimately, all the other stuff is marginal. Yes, the most healthiest, best way to eat is by constantly keeping your metabolism active, small increments, 300 calorie meals sparse throughout the day. You know, but whatever. I don't really care. Calories in, calories out plus genetics are the biggest influences. Yes. Breakfast never helped me, to be honest. I love breakfast food. It's my favorite type of food overall, but I'm not having that shit in the morning because I feel like it's a waste. I don't need it. I have lived fasted and worked out fasted for like 5-6 years now at this point. No, more than that. It's almost been like 10 years. It's been a decade. It does not. I'm sharp. I'm happy. I feel great all the time. Yeah. And I'm not hungry in the morning. So, like, why would I feed myself in the morning? Anyway, the fact that we're even having this conversation, by the way, at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break, which you can avoid by subscribing. But the fact that we're even having this conversation puts us like way ahead of the game for the average American. Because as far as I understand it, it's like, I saw a tweet about this earlier that like the average American goes to Dunkin' Donuts and like eats, you know, a bunch of fucking donuts for breakfast and has like this towering shake on the side. And it's just all carbs. You're just drinking so many calories. It's just so crazy. My American crack soda for breakfast. Yeah, I mean, look, I drink a lot of soda. I'm a big soda boy, as you guys know. It's not a secret, but I at least, you know, will drink diet soda, which is probably giving me cancer again, but ultimately it's giving me the cool type of cancer. And it's also Diet Coke. I love Diet Coke. The sugar content could kill a Finnish person. As a non-American, your portions are wild. Not everyone eats Dunkin' for breakfast, bucko. I feel like I lived in the U.S. I'd be obese as fuck too. I wouldn't be able to stop myself. Yeah, the food is delicious. Like once you get over the hurdle of like being terrified of the American food and you just kind of learn to love the bomb, I guess, at that point, once you get over the hurdle, it's like it's a dangerous prospect, okay? Very, very dangerous prospect for all of you. I live in the US and I consume so much peanut butter every morning. I love peanut butter. I don't know why people were talking about like the you know, peanut butter controversy or whatever yesterday, but I eat at least 2 scoops of peanut butter a day for sure. 190 calories. I love that shit. I think it's the best. Did you see this Dunkin' Donuts employee saying this is what she eats every day? Plain bacon with cream cheese, bacon, and cheese. That's fine. Small caramel iced coffee. 2 glazed munchkins. All right, that's not great, but fine. A whoopie pie donut. I don't even know what that is. They make new donuts now. There's like donut technology is actually crazy. I wasn't even aware of this. Okay, another bagel. Fine. That's like, I guess, lunch. Mango green tea refresher. Large frozen chocolate. What is happening? Stop drinking things. Stop drinking. Stop drinking the thing. Drink water. Drink water. That's too much sugar. Drink water. Stop. You're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to have a heart attack. Okay, avocado toast. That's fine. That's healthy. Chocolate muffin. Oh my God. More iced coffee. Cookie butter cold foam iced coffee. What is happening? Strawberry dragon fruit refresher. You are not refreshed. You are not refreshed. You're not. You just drank, I assume, around 5,000 calories. 5,000 1,000 calories of mostly sugar. This got to be bait. I like that she tops it off with a small hot chocolate, though. It's genuinely difficult to find healthy fast food. Yeah, for sure. And also, even like the things that are presented as healthy, they're not so healthy. Fast food is not great. Remember, this is the breakfast you advocated for a few months ago. This is what it looks like. What do you mean? As a former Dunks employee, they make you pay all that except the drinks? Do you have any tips for someone in college who's trying to eat better when I'm not able to cook for myself very much? What do you mean? The cafeteria? What? Dude, when I was in college, it was awesome. I would just go to the cafeteria and literally make a pile of chicken. They have grilled chicken. And they have boiled eggs. Make one pile of grilled chicken and one pile of boiled eggs and then sit there and eat both with hot sauce. Boom. And a pile of salad too. How do you overcome cravings? I cheat. And by that, I don't mean like I eat things that are, I want to eat, but I find substitutes that are not as good, but still like make me feel like I'm eating. The thing. Then you shit your whole afternoon lecture? Yeah. What cafeteria, bro? I live in Jordan. Okay, well, the other chatter, I don't know. They just said like, they're thought that they were in America. What did you eat for breakfast in Japan? It made me rethink American breakfast. I did not eat breakfast in Japan. That's the most weightlifting boiled chicken ass take I've ever heard. Grilled chicken doesn't have to be boiled chicken. You're crazy. What would you suggest if I crave chips a lot? Well, I'm lucky because I don't crave chips a lot, but when I do, I have Quest protein chips. I'm your height, but I'm 160 pounds. Thoughts? Eat like that lady we just watched for like a month at least. But yeah, in Japan, I was having tamago sandos. I was slamming egg salad sandwiches like left and right. Just so many. Anyway, let's get to it. Nominees for the 96 Academy Awards have been announced. A lot of people are upset. Some people are saying their favorites got robbed. I don't really know anything about it, so let's take a look at what's popping.
Awards were announced just moments ago. I love this stuff. Fandango's managing editor Eric Davis joins us now to sort out all the results. Eric, let's start with Best Picture.
I trust him immediately because of that hat. I feel like when you have a hat like that, you're a trustworthy individual when it comes to commentary on movies, the arts.
Yeah. The nominations in that category. Let's see them on the screen. The Best Picture nominations.
Ain't nobody's wearing a hat like that, if especially publicly, on a setting like a TV show, unless they're very confident. Confidently wrong, but still confident. You know what I mean?
Are American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives,
haven't seen it, have seen it. Heard
no
this
color
is good,
purple,
haven't seen
Eric.
it, saw
No
some
color
of it.
Purple, you know I'm...
Okay, here are my Best Picture nominees. Haven't seen it, have seen it, but it's like not Oscar worthy, let's be real. Holdovers is, I heard, very good, haven't seen it. Killers of the Flower Moon, watched like half of it. Maestro was so fucking boring, watched like the first half hour and then had to tune out. Oppenheimer, actually kind of great. Saw it, loved it. Past Lives, haven't seen it. Poor Things, haven't seen it. The Zone of Interest, heard incredible things about it, but I have not seen it. I don't even know what Poor Things is.
Eric.
No color purple.
You know I'm biased, but is this a snub?
I think it's a snub. I personally.
Barbie not Oscar worthy? All men? What? No, like Barbie is like a bubblegum movie. What are we talking about? Like, it was fun. It's cool. It's exciting, but like, it's not, I don't know. Am I crazy? Is that bait? Are you guys like actually, you're like, no, Barbie is 100% like a phenomenal product. Is that what you're saying? Or, I mean, maybe you guys are. Can bubblegum movies not be Oscar worthy? I mean, the Oscar classification is like circle jerky. Oh my God, look how woke we are, and you know, this is film, not movies. The Barbie movie is like a Marvel Cinematic Universe type beat. You know what I mean? It's called a popcorn movie, not a bubblegum movie. I don't know why he's calling it. I was saying bubblegum, but you get what I'm saying. Guys, that's crazy. It's a Mattel advertisement. Like what? It's a fun Mattel advertisement. More Oscar worthy than my show, though. My show was just 2 hours of self fart smelling. Yeah, but Maestro is exactly the type of. My show is exactly the type of movie that would be an Oscar bait somehow. You know what I mean? Because it's boring as fuck. But it's like a legendary composer that did a lot for the arts, right? So that's like exactly the type of movie that you make for Oscars. Maestro is Oscar bait. Barbie is just to sell you Mattel products, which is fine. But like, you know, it's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe type shit.
Personally would have put The Color Purple in there. I also think Ava DuVernay's Origin
Yes,
could have been a bigger player this award season. But you know, I mean, I think
let's look at the categories that we have, though. Let's put those back up on the screen, please, Shante. Okay, go ahead.
I think this is one of the most entertaining lists of Best Picture nominees that we've seen in years.
Even my man's saying it. Even my man's saying it. He's saying this is one of the most entertaining lists, like, which is critics speak for. I didn't even have a hard time watching half of these movies. Okay, and I feel like you have to have a hard time watching an Oscar movie, or if you're watching an Oscar bait movie, it can be one of two things. One, white guy saves black people, becomes hero of all of the black folk. Okay, in a pivotal civil rights moment, it's always a white guy that saves everybody. Okay, that's number one. It makes every white guy feel great. It makes you feel woke just for watching it. And you go, oh my God, I love being a savior. I would be just like that guy. Okay. The other type of movie that is like Oscar bait is like anything that is tangentially related with Hollywood. Anything that's tangentially related with Hollywood, it can be good. It can be fun. It can be really fucking boring. But if it's related to Hollywood, every single person will sit there and go, wow, I love that. I love a self-suck. We need more of these. Not enough people celebrate the industry. You know what I mean? The most successful American franchise, the most successful American industry, okay, beyond the military industrial complex, is motherfucking Hollywood. It's our greatest export, American brain rot. And yet these guys sit there and go, we really haven't celebrated each other enough. Okay? That's the second type of Oscar bait type movie. And then, you know, you have all of this stuff, I guess. I don't know. And then you have like biopics, shit like that. They love that. Yeah, biopic, Hollywood theme, or the suffering of poors and non-whites is just insta Oscar bait.
Years personally, a couple of things that I really like. First-time writer-directors with Cord Jefferson and American Fiction.
Killing the film bros by forcing them to watch your media takes. I think film bros need to hear my media takes so that they can get back down to earth a little bit.
And Celine Song with Past Lives. It's always great when somebody's first film gets nominated for Best Picture.
Past Lives is a wonderful movie.
It's really great movie about soulmates. And then alongside, I mean, legends. You have Martin Scorsese in there for Killers of the Flower Moon. I think Oppenheimer.
Also, I think Killers of the Flower Moon, this is a will take. But I think Killers of the Flower Moon, like, The Irishman was a little bit better, I think. Like, I feel like he's just going after movies for the sake of like being a guy that makes a 4-hour movie now. Too long. Bad take, holy hell, sure. Bad take, I know. I mean, I watched it. It was fine. It was cool. I say this as someone who like, what do you call it? I say this for the record as someone who literally, I mean, I watched Oppenheimer and I loved it.
That's the favorite?
And
I think
good
that's a
variety.
favorite.
Well,
I mean,
Oppenheimer's won everything.
it won Golden
Yeah.
Globe.
Even though it's up against heavy competition. I mean, you're talking about Killers, you're talking about Barbie, you're talking about Past Lives. Those are all incredibly powerful films.
Yeah, it's all
But
good.
Oppenheimer's been sweeping.
But look at Oppenheimer. It's the best reviewed film of the year on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the film that's won the most amount of awards.
It's also really, really, really good.
Really good.
Can we see Best Director, please, Shantae? Let's see Best Director in that category. Nominees are...
Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon, Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things, and Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, and Jonathan Glazer.
Dude, what the hell is... I thought the Anatomy of a Fall was a meme. Like, this is like a real fucking... This is a real movie. Like, what the hell's going on? This is... It's a legal drama set in the recent past in a chalet in the French Alps near Grenoble and a courtroom in Grenoble, France. So some guy dies, they fall and die. Is that what it is? Plot. In an isolated mountain chalet near Grenoble, Samuel Maleski is playing music in his attic so loudly that his wife, German bisexual novelist Sandra Voiter, asked to reschedule with the female student interviewing her. Their son Daniel returns from a long walk with his guide dog Snoop to find Samuel dead below his attic window. Talking to an old friend, lawyer Vincent Renzi, Sandra says the fall must have been accidental. That's such a funny way. Okay. Hassan, I'm begging you to shut the fuck up. Petition for Hassan to watch Poor Things and review Mark Ruffalo's stroke game? Sure.
These are the zone of interest.
No
Greta
Greta.
Gerwig.
Biggest story
Barbie.
here. Yeah, Greta Gerwig getting snubbed for Barbie. She's been in this category all along. I think Justin Triot, Jonathan Glazer may be taking that spot from Greta Gerwig. But again, I think Christopher Nolan. Never won an Oscar, Christopher Nolan.
He hasn't?
Has never won an Oscar. One of those legends that still is due.
Wow. Also, okay, here's a controversial take that I think a lot of people will agree with. I feel like the Oscars is always playing catch up. Don't get mad at me for saying this, but they always have like an Oscar worthy year for these like legendary directors, legendary actors. And because they like don't get the Oscar when they actually deserve it, they'll always be like, all right, this year we're going to give it to you on a product that is not as good. Like Oppenheimer was good. Okay. But the reality is, like, I don't think it's Christopher Nolan's best work. Right? So if he gets it this year, it's just like it's playing catch up. If that makes sense. Anyway.
I think he wins it here. I mean, look, he made a movie about a nuclear physicist that's like the most entertaining movie of the year. Like, the man deserves the Oscar.
And Martin
That's the way to break it down.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese, too.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese is great. I think to see Nolan versus Scorsese is a really fun.
Yeah, that's a great matchup. Okay, what's next, Beck?
Best Actress.
All right.
And the nominees are, let's see what we have. Annette Bening-Nyad, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, but you can't say that about Oppenheimer. He directed the shit out of that movie. Yes, but I was just saying it's not like, dude, Christopher Nolan has such phenomenal bangers. Like not Tenet, but obviously like Inception, fucking Dark Knight. Like that is the peak of cape shit. Like genre defining. No one will ever do it like that. Prestige, Memento, Tenet more like 10 out of 10. No, Tenet is like, no, I don't think Tenet is as good. Irrelevant if it's his best work or not. I mean, I think Dark Knight is not peak cape shit. No, it's not. That's why I'm saying. I don't think it was. It took the genre of cape shit and turned it into something very different. Other film bros might get mad, but I think you're right about this one. Also, the Oscars is a lot of fart smelling, or La La Land wouldn't have won shit and would have been relegated to a dumpster somewhere like it deserves. All right, let's continue.
Sandra Uhler, Anatomy of a Fall. Carrie Mulligan, Maestro, and Emma Stone, Poor Things. Again, tough category, but
Lily Gladstone has been
Lily's
sweeping it so far,
sweeping.
but people are talking about Emma Stone's performance. Not as much the movie, but her performance is knockout in Poor Things.
Without a doubt. I think Lily Gladstone is the top story here. She becomes the first Native American woman ever nominated in this category. Also voted most likely to win an Oscar by her high school, in her yearbooks or her high school class, rallying around her here. But in order to win it, she is going to have to beat Emma Stone, who's sensational in Poor Things. Emma Stone has won an Oscar before for La La Land. Emma Stone won the Critics' Choice Awards when they were together in the same category. However, both women won Best Actress at the Golden Globes when they were separated by category. So definitely a legitimate race for Best Actress.
Okay, Best Actor coming up next.
Actor.
What do we got here?
Let's
What
see.
is it, Nate? From
All
Best
right.
Actor.
So we got Bradley Cooper, Coleman
Yes.
Domingo,
Yes,
Paul
for
Giamatti.
Rustin, yes.
Cillian Murphy, and Jeffrey Wright.
But Cillian Murphy's been winning everything so far.
He
do,
has
do you
been.
think it'll be different this time for Oscar?
I mean, not ever. Paul Giamatti won Critics' Choice.
I think Paul Giamatti deserves it just because it's Paul Giamatti, a national hero, an American legend. Okay, the absolute GOAT. I haven't even seen it. I haven't even seen the Holdovers or whatever. He's and I love Cillian Murphy, but God, dude, Paul Giamatti, my king.
That's
like
right.
Emma
That's
Stone
right.
did.
Yeah.
You know, but Cillian Murphy won the Golden Globe, as did Paul Giamatti. So I think very similar to Best Actress race, we have a legitimate race for
I think Bradley Cooper will win though.
Best Actor, too.
Between those two?
Yes, Cillian nominated for the first time. I think
Yes.
it's really great. Coleman Domingo nominated for the first time.
Very excited about that. Because
Leonardo
Rust in the
DiCaprio-
movie hasn't gotten a lot of buzz, but everybody's
But
talking
But his
about
performance
his.
is great.
talking
But
about
I
his
also look.
performance.
I'm a Jeffrey Wright stan.
Yeah.
I like
too.
everything he's ever put on celluloid,
talented.
and so I'm rooting for Jeffrey. But I know that Killian's been.
Yeah,
If
but
Jeffrey Wright wins, Biden will end up winning in November. Jeffrey Wright is the #1 Democrat. He is the biggest Dem.
I think
but-
it's great he's nominated.
But shout out
Okay.
to Jeffrey. Nominated for an Oscar for the first time. He's won a Golden Globe, an Emmy, a Tony. Never nominated for an Oscar.
Shout out to Jeffrey and to Cord Jefferson for that movie. All right, let's see. Supporting actress next. Oh, there we go. Emily Blunt, Danielle Brooks, yay. Color Purple, America Ferrera, Jodie Foster, Davine Joy Randolph, who's been killing it so far. For me, it's a competition. America Ferrera, that's a surprise
Yes.
on that list.
Yeah, that's a surprise. A lot of people say that's like her monologue that she has at the end of Barbie is what.
That's crazy. I'm sorry. That's an insane thing to put someone as a. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. That's so stupid. Oh my God.
That is what got her. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
she has-
It was powerful.
But
Yeah.
Danielle's not going.
Oh, shut up. He's like, yeah, I'm a feminist, by the way. Ladies, I'm a feminist. Come on.
Color Purple. Have I mentioned that I'm biased? No, but Danielle Brooks is amazing in the Color
I think she
Purple.
wins this.
Yes.
First-time nominee. Emily Blunt, legendary actress, first-time nominee.
All right, Emily, Mrs.
Really good.
Krasinski. We like that
It's
too.
the year of first-timers, which I think is awesome.
I always love that story. Best supporting actor is
Sterling K. Brown, Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Mark Ruffalo. All
30
incredible.
seconds.
By the way, low key, insanely stacked list. Like literally the most stacked list here. Like what the fuck? What a list, dude. What a fucking list. Oh my God.
Seconds left, Eric. What are you thinking?
Mark Ruffalo makes history. This is his fourth nomination in this category. He ties the most amount an actor has ever been nominated in this category. Don't think he's going to win. I think Robert Downey Jr. will take it. For Oppenheimer, it would be his first ever Oscar. Shout out Sterling K. Brown.
All right, we will know March.
De Niro was evil as fuck. Yeah, De Niro had at least double Leo's lines in that movie too. Super deserved at his age, and what a grinder. Yeah, dude, the man can't stop himself from popping out babies at the age of 80, dog. He needs those lines, okay? He gets. If Robert Downey Jr. wins this year, it's a retro fix for him being snubbed for Tropic Thunder. Robert Downey Jr. deserves an Oscar for everything he's done. He's great. Check out the Lily Gladstone statement. What is that? Lily Gladstone being the first Native American to be Oscar nominated for Best Actress. Why am I the first? Why did it have to take this long for me to be the first Indigenous North American? Most of the films that show up in these categories are shot on Indigenous land in North America, and it's taken this long. Full list of Oscar noms. Best actor, we looked at Best Actress, Annette Bening in Niad, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan on Maestro, Emma Stone on Poor Things. Dude, you triggered like every annoying chatter on the planet messaging me about films. Never talk about movies again. I love talking about movies because it's so like low stakes. You know what I mean? And my position is the correct one because it's the dumbest position you can have. It's completely uneducated, and it's an issue that you can have a completely uneducated opinion on because it's supposed to be about fun. Okay? That's it. It's great. And if you take it super seriously, then you're in the wrong. You're automatically in the wrong. The moment that you take this super seriously and you get like very upset, you're in the wrong. You're gatekeepy and you're wrong. Okay. Best supporting actor. We saw best supporting actress, Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. In Guoppenheimer. Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple. America Ferrera. I don't even know what The Color Purple is. What is that? Is an American coming of age musical period drama film directed by Blitz Bazawule. Marcus Bradley's screenplay is based on the stage musical of the same name, which is in turn based by the 1982 novel of the same name by Alice Walker. It's the second film adaptation of the novel based on the book. Hassan, Get a Grip. It's about black people being poor, a perfect Oscar movie. One of the formative works of black feminism. Yeah, but it seems like there's no white people in it, which is why it's not the perfect Oscar movie. I don't see a white person being like the hero in this story, judging by the cover, and that immediately says to me, sorry, sweaty. Hassan, got no black friends confirmed. If you think any of my friends watch movies, you're out of your mind. The author of the original book refused to publish a book in Israel for BDS. That's awesome. Sick. What we're not going to do is diminish The Color Purple as simply a poor black film. No, that's not. That person is almost as uneducated on it as I am. But my point is, Caroline and Will, oh, that's true. They watch all the movies. You're right. But we never talk about movies because I'm so uneducated on them. I guess mostly because I don't watch movies. So I never talk to my friends about movies at all. Now you come at me, ask me about some shit from the Pornhub Awards or the AVN. I got some takes on that. My Maz scene, dude. Okay. Which porn director was revolutionary this year? Okay. Cum Sluts. Episode 5. Season 3. Okay. They were doing shit. They were doing shit with the cum shots that no one's ever thought of before. Okay. You're talking Dutch angle cum shots without showcasing the asshole. Very tasteful. Very tasteful stuff. Okay. Yeah. Christopher Nolan could never do that. Christopher Nolan would blow your eardrums out, not blow your back out while you're watching the cinematography. You know what I mean? And now I regret having you on speaker. Okay. I'm just kidding. All right, let's move on. International feature film Io Capitano. Italian. Perfect Days, Japan. Society of the Snow, Spain. The Teachers Lounge in Germany. The Zone of Interest in the United Kingdom. I feel like saying a UK movie is considered international is kind of funny. I know it's a controversial take, okay? But I feel like UK and Hollywood are just like, it's this, okay? Like, what do you mean? It's international. It's, okay, so it's just more Hollywood. Like, it literally is it is an extension of Hollywood. Half of the actors are from the UK. Yeah. Even all the Americans on TV are played by Brits. Yes. British people are so much better at portraying Americans than Americans are. Animated feature film, The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Robot Dream, Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse. Adapted screenplay, American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, more like Woppenheimer, Guoppenheimer. Wackenheimer. Poor Things. What was the Gucci Mane? Guappenheimer. Yeah. Floppenheimer movie absolutely stunk in the box office. Wait, really? I think the language that matters. The movie's German. It's Polish and Yiddish. Original screenplay, visual effect. Okay, I don't really care. I just like documentary feature film. 20 Days in Mariupol. Oh shit. That's a killer last year. You know what I mean? This year, I don't know. I feel like Americans don't want to think about Ukraine at all. They're like, oh no. Maybe that's like a hey, we haven't forgotten about Ukraine. Like, you know what I mean? You and Will need to do a weekly show segment where you and him watch an American classic you've never seen, like Jurassic Park, and talk about it after. Sure. Yeah. If you watch the Hasanabi broadcast live, it seems just about all the footage in 20 days, honestly. What? Bobby Wine, The People's President, The Eternal Memory, Four Daughters, To Kill a Tiger, original song, It Never Went Away from American Symphony, I'm Just Ken from Barbie, What Was I Made For from Barbie. That's crazy they got 2 Barbie songs in the original song. The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot, A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon. Documentary feature film, cinematography, El Conde, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, costume design, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Flamin' Hot is a movie about Cheetos? No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. So there's no shot that you're being for real. El Conde is about Pinochet being a vampire? What? Okay, that sounds kind of fire. Dude, I'm realizing I don't watch any of this stuff. I've watched like 3 things. The ABC's of book banning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, Nine and WIPO. Like I have watched. That's because you're a weeb, bro. Yeah, well, guess what? Despite being a weeb, I haven't seen the Heron movie either. The Boy and the Heron. I haven't seen that, and that's weeb. This is a joke, right? You're joking. You're joking. You're joking. You're joking. You're joking. Flamin' Hot's a banger, dude. It's about a Hispanic janitor that created what's known as Flamin' Hot products for Frito-Lay. Okay, that seems kind of cool. It's like it's a fake story though. Oh, really? So that's also just an ad then? It's just an ad. Conde. Pinochet being portrait with such humanity while still a monster is a good analogy for the American propaganda at the time. This looks sick, actually. El Conde is a movie made by a rich right-winger family, Lorraine, and to be honest, is pretty shitty, like a uni student film. It looks sick. Wait, why would a rich right-winger prop up Pinochet as like a bad guy then? Looks like Chilean Death of Stalin, which is amazing. First of all, it's not like Death of Stalin at all, because Death of Stalin is at least like realistic, even though obviously it's greatly embellished and portrayed as a comedy. This is like about Pinochet being a vampire. It's not realistic, like it's not hyper realistic, but Stalin is not a vampire. Okay, this is like an analogy of Pinochet's like bloodthirst or something, I think. Lorraine is a lib, one of the few, and the movie suffered heavy backlash because it was launched on 9/11. Interesting. I have a useless film degree, so I'm qualified to say this. Your take about Oscar bait was right, but you left out 2 important categories. Movies that are basically advertisements, Barbie, Flaming Hot, etc., and West-adjacent military propaganda movies, Top Gun, Nalvani, etc. They always get something, though usually it's like a VFX or some non-acting award. I mean, yeah, there's not like for the top slot, though. MIC propaganda or State Department propaganda rarely ever gets top slot. I don't think it doesn't get top billing. Also, Top Gun was good. I know what 9/11 is as it pertains to Chile. For the record, I know. Lorraine's parents were Pinochet supporters. Lorraine hates Pinochet. Got it. Okay. All right. Well, that's the Oscar part of the broadcast. Let's get to the real. Did you see Fusli call you out on her pod?
It's okay. Yeah.
Good to be.
No, yeah, I agree. I think that's good. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, oh, like I've got a strong opinion on this thing. And I'm like, I don't.
This is from 11 months ago, man. What are you doing? That's from 11 months ago. Stalin wasn't a vampire. Wow, confirmed tanky. You know it.
New strike.
Here's some more tanky news. U.S. and U.K. launched new airstrikes against Houthi militants in Yemen to stop against Red Sea, which, of course, I am against that because I am a tanky, a Muslim tanky. I want to restore the caliphate is basically what I'm saying, because I don't think that we should be bombing all of these countries. Anyway, here it is. America doing more good guy stuff, because this is good guy stuff.
On Iran-backed militants in Yemen. The latest response to repeated attacks on ships in the Red Sea. Senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the details for us. Good morning, Selena.
Hey, good morning, Michael. The U.S., UK, and its allies have launched another major attack against the Houthis in Yemen. Now, their goal is to stop this militant group that's backed by Iran from continuing to attack ships in the Red Sea. But so far, multiple rounds of U.S. strikes, including a massive joint airstrike led by the U.S. earlier this month, they have failed to stop the Houthis from attacking. But this time, officials say that they have hit an underground Houthi storage facility in addition to drone and missile sites. Now, U.S. officials, they insist to me that their strategy is working, that it is making it harder for the Houthis to continue their attacks in the Red Sea. But the Houthis say they aren't backing down. They claim that their actions are in protest of Israel's military campaign in Gaza. It's created.
It's kind of crazy that they're at least admitting that now. I feel like people who misunderstand your opinions on things don't get your extreme levels of sarcasm. Yeah. Here is the straight man take here. Okay. It's kind of interesting that at least the media is like, one, openly admitting that the attacks are not successful. Two, at least mentioning what the position of the Ansar Allah government is, right? Which is good. Russia getting massive W's from Israel going batshit. Dude, if I was more of like a Ukraine, NATO adjacent liberal, that's what I would say. I'd be like, Russia got Hamas to attack Israel so that Israel would strike back, and then all of the weapons would go to Israel instead of Ukraine. Therefore, Biden has lost the Russian gambit. Something like that. Yeah. Russia and Iran are propping up Hamas. My giga-lib parents literally had that exact same take. Yeah. Yeah, Russia. How far does it go, chat? Think about it. Stalin was pro-Israel, okay? How far does the well go? Dun, dun, dun. And everybody knows Putin and Stalin, same guy. Lockheed Martin Corp stock jump when Biden declared Yemen bombing campaign. Yeah. That is such a stretch. Okay, I'm being sarcastic now. Everything I just said was a joke. Okay? What? Interview on Yemen? All right.
Costly disruptions in one of the world's most critical trading routes, and it's created a dangerous situation. There's no clear end in sight to these back and forth strikes that have the potential to spiral into a wider war. Mary?
That is certainly the concern, Selena. Thank you.
I think part of the reason why it doesn't spiral into a wider war is because a wider war is just ongoing. Like, think about it this way, okay? in the news, you sometimes hear about like Iranian-backed militias striking American bases in Syria or Iraq, specifically in Iraq. And you're like, American military members are in Syria or Iraq? I thought we like pulled out of those places. What's going on? And it's a testament to the reality that like the broader conflict is already ongoing. It never stops going on, I would say. So that's why it's not like, I guess, escalating into something even deeper. With the exception of like bombing Yemen, because bombing Yemen is broadening the conflict for sure. What is this? I'm a total noob, I know, but is tanky a derogative term towards lefties and is reclaimed, or is it a specific kind of leftist / communist? It originally was invented in the UK to suppress the Hungarian revolution, counter-revolution, with the usage of tanks. So the British anarchists and British leftists, by and large, considered anyone who defended the USSR's actions there to be a tanky. Nowadays, it just means like anyone whose opinions I don't like that is a leftist. I guess back then it was kind of like that too, but it's mostly just a way to try and fit you contextually into a box that you can prop up and say is bad and wrong, while simultaneously still having some kind of claim over being like a progressive lefty. People that used to call leftists SJWs now use tanky. Yeah, it's just, that's it. It's a very liberal thing to say. Gross. Yeah. I thought it meant you just like tanks. No, I mean, yeah, that's a part of it. It's just used for libs to say you're going too far. Yeah, that's true. But also the strikes aim to temporarily remove the Houthi capabilities to specifically target ships and bases with their missiles and drones. The goal isn't to unseat the Houthis or kill the leaders of the Houthis, so their power / control isn't directly threatened, and so Iran won't get directly involved, etc. Yeah, but it's still not stopping it. And the more it doesn't stop it, the more the attacks will continue. Some of those attacks are going to inevitably hit civilians. Like, we know how America operates. If they continue along with this trajectory, they will inevitably say, well, maybe it's better. Regarding why it isn't. Oh, yeah, you're right. Regarding why it isn't becoming a regional war. Sure, fair. It is broadening the conflict for sure, and we know how the American and the Allied forces operate in this situation, and we'll see what happens. I thought it was a China communist because you're an apologist for the Square incident. Wait, what? No, they just say that for China and everyone. Look, nowadays it's just used by those who I guess are outside of the confines of like the American State Department positions. The Square incident, he means like Tiananmen Square. It's a terminally online liberal pejorative for anyone who's to the left of them, yes. And anyone who doesn't like fit the bill in the traditional ways that you're supposed to be like kind of in defense of the American State Department's positions on everything. Like if you say, hey, I don't think it's a good idea to bomb Yemen on moral grounds, like not even pragmatic, just straight on moral grounds. I don't think we should be bombing the poorest country one of the poorest countries on the planet, right? That just withstood a genocide. And if you say that, well, then you're a tanky. You want like Yemen to come and kill America. Like, it has definitely escalated into anything and everything that the American State Department considers to be a foreign adversary. It's like it's very successful way to counter propagandize against those who are anti-war by making those guys seem like they're silly and ridiculous because, like, of course America has to do war, but in a progressive way. That's it. Because, like, It's basically like saying, well, I don't think you understand how homophobic the Yemeni population is. You must be a tanky, as though we're like bombing Yemen to make them gay or something. Deprogramming is about asking questions, and I think letting people deal with their own contradictions. Yeah. They're liberal, except they think anyone wearing a balaclava or hijab needs to be liberated by gay bombs. Kind of like that. The word comes out of anarchist circles. Tanky equals pro-state, pro-imperialist leftist. Yes. Tanky is a thought-terminating cliche. Yes. It has like a similar utility to when someone says this is a terrorist. It is a way to just like, but because it's lesser utilized and lesser known for the most part, most people don't even know what the fuck it is. So you have to like explain the label first and all of the negatives associated with it. But overall, it's like it's like terrorism is something that you know, everybody knows what terrorism is. It's bad. It's a non-state actor. They're doing bad. They're killing civilians, and they're violent barbarians, and they must be stopped through violent means, right? So, like, but the real purpose of the distinction, the real purpose of the of slapping that sticker on someone on the political side is to deny them their habeas corpus, like the people that you're prosecuting. If you do apprehend them, you don't give them the normal civil liberties that you would give to other criminals. So that's number one. The other political purpose for it, from a marketing standpoint, is to just say, don't even like try to understand where they're coming from, because then you'll be giving into them, and these guys are bad, right? It's like the greatest example of this, something I've talked about a lot, is with Hamas, right? Like Hamas, just like any other militancy, engages in acts of terror, okay? But then there are certain circumstances in which like Hamas's militant wing 100% is not engaging in acts of terror. Right now, Hamas is not engaging in an act of terror inside of Gaza. They're actually defensively defending themselves. They have all of the rights, all of the legal rights under international humanitarian law to basically defend themselves and the Palestinian population inside of Gaza against a belligerent occupier. Israel, on the other hand, is currently engaging in statewide terror. Israel does not have a right. Yes, Hamas does not have a right to kidnap people. That's true. Okay, that's true. You don't have a right to kidnap civilians. You do have a right to have prisoners of war, but you do not have a right to kidnap civilians. So that part is correct. Okay. However, if we're looking at like war crimes across the board, Israel is engaging in a tremendous amount of war crimes. Hamas isn't defending Palestinians, though. They're just trying to inflict damage on Israel. No, right now they are. That's just not correct. So, having said that, the reason why we got to this, the reason why we're even talking about this is because like we were talking about the terrorism distinction, right? That designation is given across the board to people so that you can just completely remove like rational thought from their behavior. Because the fear is, well, one, it's a much more effective way of marketing whatever you do to deal with them, right? If someone is a terrorist, then yeah, 25,000 Palestinians are killed over the course of 100+ days, and that's totally valid. Because why? Well, we're dealing with terrorists. Like terrorism is hard, you know. We got to do counterinsurgency. Like we have to do it, and you know, in that time frame, like we're gonna kill a bunch of people, and it's whatever, you know. They're not human though. So that is it's a convenient way to slap someone with a bad guy sticker, and then also yell at anyone and everyone that even tries to understand what their position is, right? Like if you even try to understand if there's any sort of rational thinking or any sort of logic in their actions, no matter how violent or inhumane those actions might be from time to time, and October 7th is a great example of the barbarity, for sure, right? If you if you do that, then you're a bad guy too. You must be like a defender of terrorism. Now, as a Muslim Turkish American, I'm no stranger to being called a defender of terrorism. I gained, I guess, I've started doing political commentary at the tail end of the Obama Islamophobia era, right, where it was popping off for sure. So I was always branded as a Muslim apologist, and that kind of went away under the Trump administration for a little bit. But we're totally back to that worldview now, and I do definitely remember the way that people were branded like Saddam apologists for being anti-Iraq war invasion, right? The illegal and unjustifiable occupation of Iraq, which now everybody agrees was bad, and also claims that they were against, even if they weren't. At the time, the overarching feeling was, oh, dude, Iraq, you don't want America to invade Iraq, but do you love Saddam? You know he gassed the Kurds, right? He gassed the Kurds. And why do you hate our military? Why do you want terrorism to win? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go there? Why don't you go live there if you don't like America? So basically, that exact same principle has been recycled in different ways, and they still do that. Can't wait for every bloodthirsty lib call for genocide right now and say, like, in 5 years they were against Israel. Gonna be the whole this you posting happening. It doesn't matter. None of the this you shit matters. Guys, the reality is you can be wrong every day at the behest of the American State Department, and you will be elevated. Okay? No one will care about how wrong you were. On the other side, however, if you oppose the State Department and you're wrong one time, they will never let you forget that. Look no further than Hassan thought Russia would never invade Ukraine. I have been branded a Vladimir Putin defender and Russia supporter in perpetuity, despite the fact that I've never been a Vladimir Putin defender at all. Right? So it doesn't matter. And in order to make that narrative stick, people have gone to incredible lengths claiming that, like, I was duped by Arma footage, okay? That someone sent me in the chat, even though, you know, it was like a 30-second clip, claiming that, no, you say you were, but it's so stupid because you've never actually watched the full video. You've never watched a full video. Like, if you look at the actual video, someone sent it in. I thought it was real for a second. Okay. I started off hate watching you for that one. Lol. Now I agree with you on most things. This is a common thing, by the way. A lot of people do come in here and think that I'm a hyper pro Russia guy or something. And it's not the case. Oh, by the way, Yugopnik Twitch, thank you for the raid. It was a gun shooting tracers that spelled send nudes and you realized it was Arma all 15 seconds after the clip started. Yeah, but the first 15 seconds, I'm like, what is this? And that's all that has gotten play. It's a very famous clip. It's a very famous clip of people thinking that it's like it's real, that like, oh, Hassan got duped for this. Look at him, he got duped for this. And if they had ever watched, this is facts. I used to be a DGG viewer and I heard about you. Then my friend recommended you, and now I simply do not watch the support tech air conditioning technician anymore. I don't know what that means, but yeah. I don't know what any of that means. But my point is those get elevated over and over again, and it doesn't really change much because people are not really interested in what my perspective is. But yeah, if anything, people fool the Ghosts of Kiev are worse off than your take. I mean, yeah, at the time I covered the Ghosts of Kiev being most likely and not a real story, but it didn't matter. There was a bunch of stuff that like the pro-NATO side were wrong on. but it didn't matter. That's my point, guys. You will always hear Noam Chomsky getting like something wrong. Like Noam Chomsky originally said with the Khmer Rouge, like, I would hold back on believing the State Department information, and I would wait for more information to come, right? And they use that against him every day, all day, every day, nonstop, right? Why? Because he spent his entire, comparing himself to Chomsky, Lamau, but real? No. Of course, I'm not saying I'm like Noam Chomsky at all. Please do not misunderstand me. After all, I never hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, and I would never do that. Okay? My point is, if you are against the overarching State Department narrative, there are certain things that everyone kind of associates with you that is like bad, and they point to it even 50 years into the fucking future. Okay? And that's not about finding the truth or having like a consistent moral position or anything like that. It's simply it's simply just going, well, this guy was wrong 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and I'm going to somehow make that like a moral issue. Like, I'm going to say that he was wrong, remember, 60 years ago. But don't forget, most of the people that you listen to that are in positions of power have gotten things wrong over and over again. But if they've gotten things wrong over and over again at the behest of the State Department, then it doesn't matter. That's it. No one will remember it, and no one will care about it. Okay? You get a free pass as long as like everybody agrees with you. So that's it. Now, having said that, yeah, libs don't even care anymore. Look at the Nord Stream example. Yeah, this is a great example of this. I see we've reached a, yeah, the CIA probably blew up Nord Stream. Who cares, bro stage. This is a great example of this. If you remember, but you were fooled by it. See, this is what I mean. Like, people still ride this thing. Nord Stream is a great example. The Bolivian coup is another great example. Every single liberal that defended the American position on this project, right, on both of these things, right, no one punished them for it. No one ever brings it up. Because why would you bring it up? It made no sense for Russia to blow up its own pipeline. On its face, it made no sense. I called it out. I said, I don't know, maybe, but it seems very unlikely at the time, right? And liberals went along with it. They were like, no, you're wrong. You're actually wrong. It definitely was Russia. Did a single person ever get called out for it? Did a single person ever get called out for the supposed Cuba Libre protests that were happening, SOS Cuba protests that were happening? Fox News and even liberal outlets showed pro-Cuba counter-protesters as though they were anti-government protesters. To that length, to that extent. Okay? But it doesn't matter. The Venezuelan election, remember when the New York Times said it was rigged and it was later confirmed by the EU and UN that it wasn't? Yes. It's just like we move on from it, okay? We move on from it no matter how ridiculous it is, right? Like Havana Syndrome, another complete falsehood that I was completely correct on. Like, it was ridiculous. And there were liberals who believed that too, that would come in here and yell at me about this. This does not mean that I won't get things wrong. Of course I do. I'm a human, okay? I'm by myself. I'm a human being after all. And I certainly will get things wrong from time to time. Everybody does. It's just, if you're getting things wrong while you're simultaneously, defending a position, even though you get things right almost all the time, but you make mistakes from time to time, people will grab onto it and use that as a way to say, look, he's wrong. Don't listen to anything he has to say. Please do not listen to his commentary, no matter what you do. Just watch me tell you in like 3-second clips, 8-second clips, 20-second clips that I've like massaged in this direction, and get mad about him anyway. But like I always say, if you come in here and you're open-minded, if you're charitable, you will understand that you've most likely been lied to about my positions. That's it. other than the top of the hour ad break, which is true. That is definitely something I will serve you at the top of the hour. So anyway, is this supposed to be some kind of gotcha? Yeah, it was probably CIA. Like, are you 5? You are ignoring the part about the far left now perfectly okay with causing oil and fuel leak into the ocean when they criticize over the Nord Stream. CIA acts on its accord 80% of the time, this guy says. I find it hilarious how hard the left cried when the Nord Stream pipeline got blown up and they said it was an environmental disaster, but shooting missiles at large ships full of oil and fuel is apparently okay in their book, Lamau. I think that it's not even comparable to the Nord Stream leak, but it wasn't the environmental disaster that was the major issue there. Yeah. Yeah. The pipeline is going to cause a significantly larger environmental impact than a boat. Yeah. All right. Here's the ad break now. Anti-trans bathroom genital check bill may pass in Utah. That's insane. Have you heard about the cyber attack Russia did against Sweden? Over 120 authorities are not going to get their salary paid because they've shut it down completely. I think this is the war against Sweden from Russia. That's crazy. Also, notice how they don't criticize the U.S. for dangling NATO like a carrot stick for 16 years. If they think NATO and Ukraine are so critically important, why does that not bother them? For Ukrainians, like, they have nothing. Ukrainians are very similar to Kurds in that regard, where they just have nothing. Like, they don't want to... Like, I understand there is, especially now, the overwhelming majority is, in my opinion, not even remotely interested in associating with Russia, obviously. But given the chance, normalization with Russia is completely gone. But even if there was like a percentage of the population that was interested in dealing with Russia, okay, before the invasion, it was still not enough. It was a marginal percentage of the population. It was just not enough for it to be like a democratic association. And beyond that, at this point, it's like, yeah, they would rather get Western money, especially in the short term, and deal with the West. Ukrainian foreign minister Kuleba to Western countries, we offer you the best deal. You don't sacrifice your soldiers, give us weapons and money, and we will finish the job.
Important. You save few lives of your soldiers. So we kind of offer the best deal on global market of security.
It was marginal, and then post-2022 it became an extreme minority, quite understandably. Yeah, exactly. The example I use is Kharkiv. Kharkiv had a population within it that, it wasn't 50%, but there was still a not insignificant percentage of the population that like identified with Russian culture. There's no such thing at this point. Why would there be? It's just impossible. It's impossible to fucking be pro-Russia when, your apartment complex is being blown up, that your family members escaped the country because they didn't want to be conscripted because Russia is invading your country. You know what I mean? It's just like, not going to happen. The Crimea take pisses armies off. Yeah, there's a difference between Crimea and the rest of the other parts of the invasion. I know. The Crimea take absolutely frustrates people. It'll be frustrating when Zelensky or whoever is the Ukrainian leader, inevitably, if there is a peace deal, will throw the Crimea conversation back 15 years into the future for a democratic referendum vote on it 15 years in the future in an effort to just like stop the conversation from happening. The reason why they will do that is because Crimea is not like the rest of the country. The annexation of Crimea was not like the rest of the annexation of Ukraine. Anyway, do you think the model of social democracy in the short term, socialism in the short term, applies to the third world as well? Or do more dire conditions and intervention from the CIA and the like necessitate a revolutionary approach? Anyway, how much of the anti-Ukraine propaganda is true? Mainly the Nazi part. I mean, Ukrainian nationalism has a history with aligning with Nazis. That is true. And we did arm units like the Azov Battalion that were seen as the first line of defense in Donbass specifically. That also was, that is also true. But overall, politically speaking, the Azov or other nationalist factions, hooligans and the like that were fascist or fascist adjacent, their impact, in my opinion, has grown dramatically, and has been directly whitewashed by Western media now as a direct consequence of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A take that was probably my most prescient take. Something that I said directly on the day of the Russian invasion. Now, by the way, this doesn't mean that Russia doesn't have their own fucking fascists. Of course they do. It's the dumbest situation. You got fascists on both sides shooting at one another. So what you're supposed to look at is not like the prevalence of neo-Nazis in either side. What you're supposed to look at is whose cause is just. And my perspective on this has not changed. What Russia is doing in Ukraine is unjustifiable, immoral. Okay? What Ukraine is doing is emancipatory and just. This is why I regularly have talked about people just despise you because your foreign policy takes, because they get clipped down to snippets. There is no winning. Yes. This is why I've talked about over and over again how much of a massive failure the Russian invasion of Ukraine has been. How much of a massive failure the Russian invasion has been as far as like galvanizing other NATO countries, reaffirming the necessity for NATO in the eyes of the Western world, and even having formerly neutral countries actually join NATO. Massive issue. Russia is a fake socialist fascist state. There's nothing socialist about Russia. Russia is the remainder of the dissolution of the USSR, and it's absolutely propped up by Western-backed kleptocrats who were anti-regime, pro-regime change, and pro-capitalist, Putin himself included. Yeah. Minutes ago, Turkey just ratified Sweden's entry into NATO. Well, Turkey will do whatever they're told. They probably cut deals. Russia doesn't even ever pretend to be socialist. Putin doesn't ever pretend to be socialist. The only thing that Putin cares about as far as like USSR imagery is the projection of strength. Spanning over a vast territory, controlling, natural resources directly. That's it. There's nothing communist about Vladimir Putin. The only reason why this kind of imagery is invoked in Russia is because it is considered, the USSR is considered a fucking world power at the time. Not just a regional power, but a global hegemonic power. So it's a way to project strength through this mythology that you build. There's a strong communist party in Russia, though, but they won't win any elections. Strong communist party in Russia. There is no party in Russia that isn't controlled by Vladimir Putin. Get out of here, dude. Come on. That's ridiculous. The strong communist party of Russia also was pro-invasion of Ukraine. Get the fuck out of here. This is stupid. They're not strong. It's all fake controlled opposition. There's one dude that runs the show there, okay? The Russian socialist lie the Western tells are leftovers from McCarthyism. I think so, too. Russia has an effective four-party system, and Putin controls all four of them. Yes. So, what happens when Putin dies? Massive destabilization. We'll see. Vladimir Putin. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yevgeny will return. No, Prigozhin. I saw a post saying you support the annexation of Crimea a few days ago. The comparison of that framing to what you just actually said is crazy. Your haters say that your positions lack nuance, but if that were true, they wouldn't feel the need to lie about them. Yeah. Anyway. In Russia, inside of you, there are two wolves, and they're both controlled by Putin. Yes. Yeah, I don't know what will fucking happen if Putin, when Putin dies. Not if, but when. I mean, he's old too, so we'll see. Kadyrov Ascension, Muslim Russia. Yeah, dude, Russians are gonna let a fucking Muslim Chechen guy run the show. Come on. Yeah, no, they're gonna have a Dagestani dude. They're gonna get Khabib Nurmagomedov run the country. It's the same clip, but they never watched the full clip. Yeah. They're gonna have Hezbollah run the country. Anyway, the oligarch with the biggest military support will become premier, or America will worm its way inside. We'll see. I have no idea. I don't want to talk about it. The nuance is that we actually support Crimean annexation for the Tatars, and by way for the Turks. I've said this before. Crimea belongs to the Tatar population. Okay. In a period of Russification, far before Russia or Ukraine had any stake, any ownership on Crimea, the Tatars were forcibly removed from Crimea. So if we're talking about who actually owns Crimea, it's the Turks. Give Crimea back to the Turks, the Tatars. That's number one. If it's not owned by the Turks or the Tatars, then it's owned by Russia in that situation. Forcibly removed after collaborating in World War II. Doesn't matter. Not Turks, but Greeks. Greeks have an ownership claim over it too. Fine. Crimea, Turkey's Kashmir. Anyway. The latest clip circulating was their stance was NATO was built with Nazi generals and that through neoliberalism, fascism, and Nazism won, but it's just true. Yeah, I think that's one of the funnier things is when like my haters will clip something that is like objectively and demonstrably true, but because they don't know that it's like actually like that, and they know that most people are just like unconditionally going to be pro NATO regardless, they will promote it. It's one of my favorite things that like Post Left Watch or whatever does all the time too. Anyway, we're talking about ownership. Remember, nobody owns Trump. He's a businessman and can't be bought, famously. All right. Let's get back to it, though. Explosions occurred. Now, of course, is Crimea a Russian state thing? I don't understand. Crimea is the one of the easternmost points, had a military base, a Russian military base that was lent to Russia by Ukraine. In the 2014 annexation, the Russian military came in and took over and annexed Crimea. Leading up to the Crimean annexation, God, I've talked about this so many fucking times. There's videos on it, not from my haters, but videos from my channel, if you'd like to know more about the Crimean annexation by Russia. But leading up to the annexation of Crimea by Russia, and this is like recent history, I'm not talking about Tatars. Leading up to the Crimean annexation of Russia, or the annexation of Crimea by Russia, okay, there were numerous polls done. And the saying at the time, now obviously this is very different now, but at the time, contextually, the further east you went out, the more there was Russia support in Ukraine. Okay? There was political struggles. Russia wanted to keep Ukraine inside of the Russian sphere of influence over the Western sphere of influence. There were a lot of Western NGOs and civil society organizations that wanted to take Ukraine and bring Ukraine into the Western sphere of influence that they can use against Russia. So it had political importance. It's also a material importance. What ended up happening is after Russia's annexation, there were elections held. It's largely bullshit. I care more about the polling done before and the actions that happened after. For Ukraine, one of the moves after the Crimean annexation, after the Russian annexation of Crimea, was to blow up the waterways and dam or destroy the USSR built canals that gave water to Crimea. Yeah, he got Yanukovych to essentially turn against the EU association agreement as a step towards membership, which would move them into the West. Exactly. So the realpolitik answer is that Russia had concerns about Ukraine getting into the Western sphere of influence, and they wanted to stop it. And one way to manipulate that was by having DPR and LPR remain autonomous regions that would still be under the banner of the Ukrainian nation state, but that way they could interfere with the affairs of Ukrainian domestic politics. Okay? Ukraine obviously did not want this. And before that, obviously NATO membership was also dangled as a carrot for Ukraine, just like with Georgia. So Putin pulled a Georgia, or wanted to pull a Georgia, to completely ensure that Ukraine never actually joins NATO, and said that that is a red line and wanted to enforce that red line. And I was wrong when I said that he would never invade, and thought that they never floated DNR and LNR being under Ukraine. No, that's 100% a part of the Minsk agreements. You're wrong. No. Russia wanted DNR and LPR to stay under Ukrainian territory, but have autonomy from Ukraine in an effort to interfere in Ukraine domestic politics. That was the overarching goal. I'm not wrong on this. That is what they wanted to do. I think the Sevastopol port and the overall military relevance of Crimea are more relevant goals here. Yeah, Crimea is a different story. We need Moldova, Mama Liga. They're the only ones with the correct take. Yes. You said this last year and the year before. Yes. So I just want to say I'm 2/3 done with the Lex video, and I suggest not watching the entire 2 hours. There's timestamps of the subjects. Much love. Yeah. We will do it. We will do the Lex Fridman Shapiro Destiny video. Don't worry. Later. All right, let's get to the IDF explosion.
News overnight in the Israel-Hamas war. At least 21 Israeli soldiers were killed in Gaza. Matt Gutman is in Tel Aviv with the latest developments. Matt, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mary. This was the deadliest attack on Israeli troops.
I thought it was 24. The number increased to 24, no? 24 soldiers killed on deadliest day for Israeli forces in Gaza combat. All right. UK not seeking confrontation with the Houthis, says Sunak. Nice.
Yeah, the Israeli military said that a unit of Israeli reserves was trying to demolish a pair of two-story buildings in Gaza when Palestinian militants nearby fired an RPG that hit a tank. That blast apparently triggered a chain reaction that detonated the mines the soldiers were going to use.
Damn, this guy's good.